after experiencing a powerful moment of salvation.
Well, today's story also involves a revelation that only lasted a split second, but that was all it took for Thomas Leeds to regain a part of his life that he thought he'd lost forever.
When I was 19, I was crossing a road and I was hit by a car, flew through the air and landed on my head, breaking my skull. I broke my back in 3 places and was rushed to hospital. The hospital didn't realise how serious my head injury was. There were a couple of days when I was getting worse and worse, and my mum and dad were very adamant that I needed another scan. When the doctors saw the scans, they saw this huge clot in my head getting bigger and bigger. They said that I was very close to death, and so they very quickly had to do this operation to remove the clot. When I woke up in hospital, it wasn't immediately obvious that I had lost all of my memory, that I didn't know what was going on. I just vaguely remember almost being fascinated by everything, but not being alarmed or spooked by anything.
But in the weeks and months after the operation, Thomas's memory didn't improve.
The funny thing with memory loss is you don't really know what you've lost until you're told what you should know. So it kind of took a while to realise, oh wow, there is a lot of stuff that I have done and who I am and everything, but nothing was coming back. And then as the years went on, it was getting harder to kind of move forward in life, not having anything from the beginning.
For a full 10 years after the accident, Thomas could remember nothing about his childhood.
So it was a few weeks before my 30th birthday, and I was compiling a playlist for my party, and suddenly this song came on. When that track played, amazingly, just suddenly all these memories came popping into my head. I suddenly saw this weird blue floor, and then I was suddenly holding a giant man's hand. So they turned out to be quite early memories. And then there was like this huge Christmas tree, and in the doorway there was this woman, and she was young, she didn't have grey hair, and she was my mum. That was the day that changed everything for me, because I went from not having a beginning to my story to having something real in my head from my childhood. And yeah, somehow this was the magic song that brought back those particular memories. It's very cool.
Thomas didn't regain his memory, and 8 years on, he's living with the lasting impact of his brain injury, which is something his family, including younger brother Ed, have learned to support him with.
It's easy to look at me and think he's fine, but the truth is, like, life has been very different to how it would have been had this not happened. I have post-traumatic epilepsy and also face blindness, which is when you can't recognize people. So much as I can't escape the realities of living with a brain injury, I'm very happy now that I've managed to find my way, and I have 2 lovely kids. And because I don't have those memories from my childhood, I think it makes bringing them up and sharing this childhood with them even more special for me now.
Thomas's brain injury is now driving another new chapter in his life.
I got this idea of this story about this boy with a similar problem who's also got a brain injury and lost memories, and I couldn't get rid of it. It just wouldn't go away. And my wife said, oh, well, why don't you try writing this story? Which I did, and I found it so therapeutic in a weird sort of way, like recycling all those experiences that could be quite painful into something new and exciting. I eventually somehow wrote this first draft of a book. I'm really passionate about giving children somebody that they can relate to, but also has this struggle, and not shying away from the realities of living with a brain injury and epilepsy, but showing that Unfortunately, you just have to accept that there are some things that you can't do. But if you can do one thing, then you can be awesome at that. I'm so happy to just be here and to have what memories I've got back. In a weird way, the further I get from my accident, the more my life feels whole, and we kind of feel like more of a real person. Just making new memories makes it all feel better.